represent the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, an archipelago of 700 beautiful islands and keys. Today I'll be showcasing my signature dish to you using the Spiny Lobster Tail. The Spiny Lobster Tail is a very great delicacy in the Bahamas. April 1st is our actual start of our core fishing season, and it runs until July the 31st. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to separate the tail for the head, because the tail is going to be the actual bulk of the product I'm going to use for my demonstration to you today. Now, you pretty much just pick up the lobster and give it a nice twist. Not too hard, nice and gentle. Separate it from the head. Now the head, you want to save the head, because as you can see, the head has a lot of nice flesh and meat and fat. You want to save this and do a nice lobster bisque for a later date. Now, this lobster tail, this is a nice big lobster tail. This tail is about 9 inches in length approximately. More than enough for the size that's considered legal in the Bahamas, which is 5.5 inches in order to sell. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to split my tail in half using a very sharp knife. I'm going to make sure your knife is nice and sharp. You're going to make an incision at the tip, and you want to bring your knife straight down slowly. You want to be very careful not to damage your knife. These shells, as you can see, are very hard. Nice cut to the bottom. Make sure you cut straight to the bottom of the shell. There you go. You have a nice, thick, meaty lobster tail. Now, first off, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my first half. I'll wipe up this a little bit. I'm going to take my first half, and I'm going to peel it completely out of the shell. Now I want to save the tip of the shell, because as you will see later on, I'm going to use it for a nice presentation for my final plate. Okay. Now the second one is going to lift up gently, separate it from the shell, and put it right back down. And the reason I did that is when you cook your lobster's tail, you don't want it to stick to the shell after the cooking process. You're going to make sure it's separated so it'll be easy to eat and separate from the shell after it's completed. Now, what I'm going to do is give these tails a nice season. This is my season of about 14 herbs and spices. I'm going to give those tails a nice season. Separate it from the shell. Give it a nice season on the upper side. You want the flavor to go all the way through. Flip it over, give it a nice season on the upper side. And you're going to take the seasoning and rub it in right straight through the meat. You're going to make sure it has a nice absorption of all of the flavors. Now what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take my lobster and I'm going to form it into a nice coil. And you want to have your skewers available. Slide it straight into place to hold the shape. Now lobsters, for anybody that was not too familiar with the lobster tail, the lobster, the lobster habitat, the natural habitat is usually around coral reefs. It's actually called a scavenger of the sea, but don't be fooled by the name scavenger. It's one of the sweetest forms of seafood you will ever taste in your life. I can guarantee you, you'll definitely come out to the Bahamas and try it again. Now, to finish off your lobster, for presentation purposes, what you want to do, I'm going to cut a nice small piece of foil, and you'll take that foil and wrap it around your tail. That's the tip of your tail. Spread your tail wide like a fan. And take this foil and just wrap it on it. Now, the reason you're doing this is strictly for presentation purposes. And what's going to happen, as you put this on the grill and you cook it, the foil is going to hold the tail together, and as it completes the cooking process, when you take it off, it's going to hold the pretty lobster shaped fan. So you almost have like a little lobster fan for your presentation of your plate. You want to repeat the same process with the second tail. And after you completed that, just wrap your tails, and we're going to let it marinate for about half an hour or so. Half an hour to an hour. Actually, the longer you marinate, the better, but give it about a half an hour to an hour, and you'll have a nicely marinated lobster tail. The next step in my signature dish, I'm going to show you how I prepare my side of plantains and my mango and papaya salsa. Now, what you want to do, you want to have a nice soft plantain. You don't want it too green, you want it nice and ripe and soft. And you're going to take them, have your pot on medium heat, and you're going to get them a nice golden fry until they're nice and soft. Be very careful with the extreme heat. And you're going to let those stay in there, and you're going to let those fry for like about, say about 5 minutes, anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. Keep your heat on low. Make sure not to burn the plantain. You'll let it fry and give it a nice golden brown until it's nice and soft. Now, in the meantime, while that's frying, keep your heat on low. We're going to prepare the mango and papaya salsa. It's a very simple salsa. I chose to use mango and papaya because they're also native to the Bahamas, native food to the Bahamas, and they complement the flavor of the lobster very well. So what we're going to do, we have some nice diced mango. Add it to the bowl. You're going to take your diced papaya, add it as well. And one of my favorites, chopped cilantro. Now, cilantro isn't a native herb to the Bahamas, but it grows over here and is one of my personal favorites. And give the cilantro a nice chiffonade. Not too fine, but a nice rough chop. Take the cilantro and you're going to add it there. Add it with your fruits. And you're going to take just a little drizzle of olive oil. And you get a touch of salt. And you're going to mix it nice together. Get a nice mixture together. Get all those flavors combined. And this is going to be the salsa for the lobster tail. Very simple but nice refreshing topping. Just to add a nice little sweet note to the lobster tail at the end of it. Now we're going to come back and check our fried plantains. I'll say another 5 minutes and they should be ready. Our next step is going to be our garnish, our edible garnish, the plantain chip. Now what you want to do, you're going to take a nice green plantain. It has to be a green plantain. If you use a ripe plantain, it's going to be too sweet, and the sugars inside the plantain is going to cause it to be really soft. You're not going to get that crisp effect that you're looking for. So we're going to take a nice green plantain, you're going to get a nice sharp mandolin, and you're going to make thin slices of your plantain. So this is what we're looking for. You want to get it almost paper thin. Nice thin slices of your plantain. And make sure you get it nice and uniform. Okay, here we go. So this is basically what you're looking for, nice and thin. So what we're now going to do, we're going to take our plantain and in medium heat, we're going to rest the plantain in with a nice little shallow fry. And you're going to let them shallow fry until they turn nice and crispy. Be very careful to watch your heat. Keep it at a nice medium to low temperature. You want to monitor it to make sure your plantain doesn't burn in the process. As you can see, we're already starting to crisp up just a little bit. Give it a nice flip. There we go, looking good, looking good. Now, while my plantain is frying, we're going to take that plantain that we were working on earlier, the fried plantains. They're nice and soft. This is the consistency you're looking for. Nice and soft. Press it to the touch. And we're going to take them and add it to the blender. Now, the traditional way we eat in the Bahamas is the plantain fried plantain slices. But I'm going to twist the rose just a little bit. I'm going to take my plantain and I'm going to puree it. Now, this style is similar to the Mofongo style, which is used in Puerto Rico. But it's just slightly different because we're not going to use any pork fat and we're not going to use any garlic. We're just going to use the pure extract of the plantain and blend it up together. What you want to go to add just a little bit of liquid stock to it, just to loosen it up just a little bit. Very careful. Now that our plantain has been pureed, what we're going to do, we're going to transfer it to a nice mold. We'll spray with a little bit of palm spray. We're going to take the plantain. We're just going to gently scoop it in. This is going to form a nice mold for us. It's pure plantain. I'm going to smooth it out nice. There we go. And what you want to do, you want to set this in the fridge. You want to cover it, wrap it nice, set it in the fridge. By tomorrow, this is going to be the base for one of my lobster tails. It's going to hold a nice firm consistency, as you'll see as it's completed in the morning. Now, our plantain chips should be ready now. So we're going to take them out. They're nice and golden. There we are, nice and crispy. Take those out. Rest them on a paper towel. A little oxygen in there. That's on the paper towel, allow them to dry. I'm going to take a little sugar while the oil is still moist and just drizzle the sugar on it. So remember, these are green plantains, so they're not very sweet. You want to drizzle just a little bit on it. Then we have our plantain chips. The last component of my signature dish is going to be a toasted cocoa palm garlic bread. Now, cocoa palm is one of the more popular brands of homemade coconut bread made here in the Bahamas and consumed by many Bahamians of all walks of life. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut my cocoa palm bread nice and uniform. Going to give it a nice cut down the middle. So you see a nice fluffy, perfect texture bread. That's what you're looking for when you shop for your homemade breads down in Nassau Bahamas. Just going to cut the edges off just for presentation. Give it a nice square off. Now what I'm going to do, cut them in nice slices. Go, and one more slice. There we go. Now these, make sure I don't throw these away. You can make a nice bread pudding, or you just give it a nice little toast, put a little butter on it, a little coconut jam, guava jam, whatever your favorite is. And trust me, you'll definitely be back to buy some more cocoa palm bread. Now we have our slices already cut and set aside. We're going to make our garlic butter. We have some minced garlic here. We're going to add it to our softened butter. All that nice garlic oil and everything in there. And we're going to take a little chopped cilantro just for a little extra flavor and color. And you're going to take your whisk it nice together. There we go. Now we're going to take this and lightly butter our bread. You don't want to go too heavy. You want to go nice and light. That's what you're looking for right there. And one last slice. Get a nice spread. There we go. And that's going to be our toasted cocoa palm garlic bread. Okay. Alright, now that we're done with all of that, we're going to move on to the next step and make the Bahamian coleslaw. Now, the Bahamian coleslaw is one of the more favorite side dishes consumed here in Nassau, Bahamas. And I guarantee you, once you come down to Nassau, this will become one of your favorite side dishes as well. It's very simple. So pretty much the mise en place or the prep that you need for this. We have some vinegar, some mayonnaise, we have some thinly sliced carrots, we have little diced tomatoes, there's some diced onions. We have a mixture here of sugar and salt. So basically all you're doing, you're just going to take all of your ingredients and you add it right in your bowl of nicely finely shredded cabbage. You got your onions, you got your nice tomatoes, you got your carrots, just sprinkle them right on there. You add your mayonnaise. You add some vinegar. You want to be very careful with your vinegar. You know, vinegar has a tendency to be very sharp, so just want to add just the right amount, probably like about 2 tablespoons the most. Then you add your sugar and your salt mix. And you're going to get this a nice little mix together. Personally, this is my favorite side dish, so I found it only fitting that this on the side of my lobster. Any grilled food, to be as a matter of fact, I have to have my coleslaw with it. And when you sample this, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Give it a nice toss, mix everything in nice and thoroughly. Looking really good there. It'll come together really nice. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our Bahamian coleslaw. It's going to be a side dish to my lobster tail as it comes off the grill very shortly. There you go. I'm telling you already. Okay. Spray a little bit around that. Alright, so on to the best and most exciting part. We're now going to start grilling our Spiny Lobster Tail. It's a nice sunny day, as you can see, in the Bahamas. Underneath the mango tree, the coconut tree, the pear tree. So we're going to do this island style today. So what you first want to do You're going to take your lobster tail. You're going to spread nice with some nice non-stick palm spray. And the reason you're doing this because you don't want to, when you put it on the grill, you don't want your lobster to stick at all. So you want to make sure you give it a nice spray to prevent any type of sticking on the grill. There we go. And we take our big boy, spray him nice. Put him face side down. And then repeat. I decided to throw just an extra one in just for the family. You know what I mean? Have a nice big juicy marinated lobster tail overnight. Oh man, I can't wait to taste this. This is what you call juicy. We're going to spray our final one. Get them nice. And there we go. Alright, so what we're going to do, these are really big lobster tails. So what we're going to do, we're going to let this cook for at least about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. In that 15 minutes, you're going to come back and check on these and flip them over, give them a nice brush of the barbecue sauce, and then we're going to let it finish off.
I say you better cook a cow, cause I like to eat all the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. No rice for me, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. I like the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. I want the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. Put it on.
It's been about 15 minutes now, so let's take a look at chopping our lobsters, see how far they're coming along. Oh man, look at that. That's a lobster tail. So now what we're going to do, just want to give these a nice flip. Oh man, this looks really good. And be very careful and gentle with your lobster as well. You don't want it to break apart. Flip that last one. Our lobster is like about 3/4 of the way done. So what I like to do, I usually take a little bit of my secret barbecue sauce and just give it a nice little glaze over the top. Give it a nice brush. And what's going to happen as I close this back down, this barbecue sauce is going to caramelize on our lobster, holding it and giving it a burst of flavor. A tremendous burst. Catch a little close-up of this. Nice close-up of this tail. Oh man, that is a tail. Nice little brush over here. Alright. Now, since our lobster is almost done, what we're now going to do, our plantain mold that we made last night, I'm just going to rest it right in the corner of the grill. You don't want to put it directly over the fire. So you want to put it right on the corner of the grill to catch a nice slow heat. There we go. Just hit it with a little bit of palm spray so it doesn't stick. We're going to rest it right here and let it slowly warm until we're ready for it. Another 5 to 10 minutes, we should be ready to take these babies off and we're going to do a nice plated presentation inside. Close it down and let it cook. And cut.
I say you better cook a cow, cause I like to eat all the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. No rice for me, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. I like the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. I want the meat, all the meat, all the meat, all the meat. Put it on.
Now it's about that time. It's about 20 minutes past now. So I'm quite sure our lobster tails will be ready for consumption. And ready they are. There we go, nice, perfect done lobster tail. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take these lobster tails off, we're going to wrap them, take them inside, and then we're going to toast cocoa palm garlic bread. That'll be collected our lobsters off the grill. And take our nicely garlic buttered cocoa palm bread. And we're going to get a nice toast on the grill. Just a nice gentle toast. So what I'm going to do is put them face down on the butter side. Put them both down. Leave them there for a few minutes. I'm going to close the grill down. And we're going to let it cook for approximately like 1 minute. Now our garlic bread should be done by now. Just 1 minute. Like, so there we go. Perfect toast. Now this is the type of consistency you're looking for. You don't want it too dark. It's a nice golden toasted brown. Go. Alright. So now let's head inside and we're going to do a nice plate up of the spiny lobster tail. Now, for my favorite part of the preparation, the plating. This is my passion behind Culinary Arts. This is the reason why I put all my effort and my love into Culinary Arts, to present a nice plated entree to my guests and my patrons, and make sure they have a blast of a time and be sure to come back. Now what we're going to do first, I'm going to take the plantain. What I made here, I made a pineapple glaze, or fresh pineapple, native from the island of Vitznau, one of our family islands. And we're going to take this and we're going to glaze the plantain. Nice pineapple glaze, give it a nice shine and a nice sweet, extra sweet flavor of the pineapple. Right, one more brush. There we go. Catch around the edges. Rest that right there. Now, what we're going to do next, we're going to take our lobster and we're going to remove the foil. Remove your toothpicks. And we're going to take this first tail and we're going to rest it right on top of that plantain. Go. Now we're going to separate our second tail, our foil. And remember we separated it from the shell. We're going to use that. We're going to stand it up nice and tall. There we go. Okay, next, we're going to take our coleslaw. We're going to put our coleslaw right in the middle of there. Form a nice little ball. Get it nice and tight. Rest it right there to the base. Make sure it's nice and neat. There we go. Wow. Now we're going to take our salsa. Take our papaya salsa, papaya and mango salsa. We're going to just put a little drop right on top of the lobster tail. A little drop to the side. A little dollop right in the front here. Get the plate some nice color. And just one little bit right in the back. So we got the beauty of the plate from all angles. We have our plantain chip. We're going to take our plantain chip and we're going to stick it right to the top. There we go. And last but not least, we have our barbecue sauce, and we're going to just finish it off. Just drizzle just a little bit of that right over the lobster. Go. Flavor, I say flavor. There we go. Let that run right down. Knock them right that spot. A little boob. We got that there. Make sure you always, as a chef, you always want to make sure your plate is nice and clean. Because remember, everybody eats with their eyes before they put anything to their mouth. So make sure, take pride in keeping my plates nice and clean and tight. That is my signature dish. My rendition of a spiny lobster tail with my pineapple glazed plantain, my plantain chips, my homemade barbecue sauce, and my pineapple mango, and papaya salsa. Now that you have your nice lobster meal, I just like to recommend two favorite beverages of mine that perfectly complements this lobster dish. One is one of our native popular beers, the Kalik beer. For those of us that are not big drinkers, I recommend the Kalik Light. The Kalik Light is a nice, refreshing, smooth beer that goes down perfectly with your meal. You want to be sure to tilt your glass, you don't want to get too much foam to the top. Pour that nice beer there. There we go. When you come to the Bahamas, you must try the Kalik beer. And another favorite of mine is the Nassau Bahamas. Now this is not a Bahamian beer, but it's a favorite amongst many Bahamians. It's actually a sweet wine that originates from France, and it complements the lobster, the favorite lobster, perfectly. You want something not too sweet, just semi-sweet, especially for the ladies. This is one I definitely recommend for ladies from any walks of life, any part of the world. I guarantee you, you have a glass of Mellow Reserve with your wine, with your lobster. And this will be a dining experience that you will never forget. So there you have it, everybody. It's my signature dish, my spiny lobster tail, going along with my Kalik beer or my Mellow Reserve. For those of us that don't drink, I also could recommend a nice refreshing coconut water to go along with this dish. So there you have it, everybody. My rendition of the Bahamian spiny lobster tail is my signature dish. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and experiencing our flavor profiles from the Bahamas. I look forward to meeting all of you guys down in Las Vegas this coming November. Have a good day and God bless.
I say you better cook a cow, 'cause I like to eat